Hey guys, welcome to my video on making a custom chat system in Roblox Studio. A few people have requested this, so I thought I would actually make a different series kind of for making creations, like, and kind of walking through them as I go. So to those people who have requested the video, I hope you find it somewhat useful. I'll try to definitely explain as much as possible, but I will not really be going over everything that I do, so you'll probably need to know a bit of how LUA works ahead of time, but you can probably kind of get the basic idea of what I'm doing as I'm going. So, let's just start here. So I just started with this basic chat frame, just have a black transparent frame right here, and I'm just going to work from that. So I'm just going to insert a local script in this. With this chat system, I'm going to be using remote events and remote functions. So if you don't know what that is, you should probably search it on the Roblox wiki because they're very useful. A remote event is pretty much something that is something that allows communication between a client and a server, or vice versa. So the remote event object looks like this, and we just have this event here. We can name it whatever we want. We'll say chat remote. And actually, I'm not going to be using remote functions in this video, but if you really want to make a complex chat system, then you probably could, but we're just going to keep it simple for now. And then we're going to have a server script to manage our connection with the remote event. We'll call it server chat, and we'll call this client chat. And we're going to need some references to our remotes. So we'll say, let's get some services started. Players, actually we're not going to need players. Local rep storage, game, get service, replicated storage. And then we'll make one for the remotes. Remote, chat event. To rep storage, wait for child, what name? Chat remote. Alright, we can copy and paste this in the client chat since we're going to need that there too. And we're going to make some references towards the players. We're going to make a, well, yeah, we'll just put client stuff. Local client is equal to players.local player. Local mouse is equal to client get mouse. And the reason I'm using get mouse is basically because I'm going to be making a custom chat bar as well, and I'm going to be using a key to capture that chat bar's focus, and so I'm going to be using get mouse. So actually, I should create the chat bar here. Use a text button, text box, and we'll call it chat bar. And let's just put this in the chat bar. And we'll make that black, transparent, 35. Let's just say 1, 5. Scale that. And there. So we can worry about details later, but that's, well, just give it a text at least. Okay. So now what? We're going to need a reference to our GUIs here. So we'll say GUIs local chat bar is equal to script.parent, which pretty much just gets the object that the script is inside of. So in each one of these properties, parent is whatever the object is inside of. Local chat frame is equal to chatbar.parent. And okay, so what we're gonna need now. Alright, let's go ahead and make an event for the chat bar. So, if we want to... Actually, another thing I'm going to do here is disable the default chat. So, with Roblox core GUIs, if you want to disable one... Oops, wait, service... Starter GUI... you use a method called setCoreGUI_enabled on the starter GUI service, and you can pass the first parameter is the program that you want to disable or enable, and the second argument is whether or not you want to enable or disable it. So we'll say starter GUI set core GUI enabled enum.coreGUI_type.chat and false. So I'll put that at the end, and now we can use our slash key to capture the focus of the chat bar. So we'll say chat bar dot, actually no. We'll say mouse dot key down connect function, and then key, which is whatever we pressed, and then we'll say if key byte, which just gets the bytecode of the key. So I think in this case it's 47. I think 47 is the /, but I'm not sure. Let's print / byte. Yeah, 47. And then we can use chat bar and capture focus. Yeah, focus. Alright, now let's just try that to make sure I didn't screw anything up. And if I press the /, it captures the focus. Good. Now what? Alright, so we have our remote event. Change that, remote event. Okay, so we're going to make a function that pretty much makes it so that we can have both connections between the client and the server, and then the server can invoke the client. Or not invoke it, but fire it. So for that, we're going to need to set an event on this remote event from the client and the server, and in the client it's going to look like chat event dot on client event connect function, and then we'll just say request, so we can have the server tell the client what exactly we want it to do, so we don't have to make like multiple remote events. Request, and in this case we're going to say message and speaker. So this is going to return to the client who sent the message and what the message is. And we're going to say request is equal to request lower, basically making it so that capitals don't matter. We're just converting the entire string to lowercase characters. We'll say if request is equal to chat, then, and now we'd put our function here for creating the message. So let's see, where can we put this? Create message. So we'll say local function create message, and we'll have message and speaker. So local label is equal to instance.new text label, label.background transparency, dang it, transparency is equal to 1, label text x alignment equal left. I usually always screw up when making instances in a script, so this might turn out kind of weird at first. Text color 3 is equal to color 3 menu. Make it white. Label dot font is equal to Arial bold. size is equal to size 18. So I think that's okay. Yeah. Label.text is equal to toString speaker. So if the speaker is nil, it'll just it won't error. It'll just say nil. Or we could put an alternative option in there, but I'll do that later. So toString speaker, and then we're gonna have our chat prefix, which will just be colon, and then concatenate all of that with the message. And then yeah. So now we're also going to need a function to push all of the messages up or down or whatever direction we want to put them. So we'll actually create a table for this, I think. We'll say chat messages, local chats is equal to that. So chats represents all of the messages that are in the chat frame. So we'll say chats plus 1 is equal to label. So we'll insert that in the table, and yeah. Also gonna need a function, so call it push messages, local function, push messages, and then we'll give it the size to push. So for IV in pairs chats, do v.position is equal to v.position minus ud and 2.new 0, 0, 0 size. So that's going to push all the chats up the whatever we have size for. And then, yeah, that's good. So, I'm trying to think of what else to add. Push messages. So, label dot parent is equal to chat frame. Oh, we're also going to need a event for the chat bar called focus lost, which pretty much fires when the either the enter key is pressed or whenever the text box just isn't focused anymore. So we'll say chatbar.focusLost connect function. Enter, and enter pretty much just means if it was the enter key that made the focus be lost. So that's pretty useful. Enter, then we can invoke or fire the server. So we'll say chat event fire server. We're going to give it a request of chat. We're going to give it the message, which is the chat bar's text, so chatbar.text. And it's actually, we only need one or two parameters here, since client is default returned as the first argument. So we'll say remote event chat event.onServer event connect function client request and value. So this is just typically how I set up all my remote events. I always have well, obviously the client as the first argument, and then I have request, and then I might have a number of different arguments after that. So I just think that's pretty neat, because you can just kind of make endless possibilities with one event. And you will more than likely have to do that if you're going to be using remote events for a complex thing. If request lower is already have it lowered. Request is equal to chat, then, and now we're going to make the event fire all clients. So basically what we're doing here is we're making the client invoke or fire the server to fire all the clients. So it's kind of going back and forth there. So we'll say chat event fire all clients, and we're gonna need the request and the parameters. So we'll say value and client.name. So I think that's the correct order. Let's see. Yeah, request, message, and speaker. Have chat, value, and the client. So that's good. I think this is all we need to really do for the server. There's not really much the server can do other than just handle the remote right now. So, let's see. Alright, let's just go ahead and test this real quick. See if I'm doing anything wrong. Actually, I don't think I set up the... oh, I did, okay. So we'll say testing, and it didn't work. No error. Okay, that's weird. Oh, that's right, I didn't put anything here. So, create message, message and speaker. And now that should do something. So I'll say testing, and there it is. So now we're just gonna add some functionality to that, make it look a bit cleaner. Maybe make it start at the bottom and then work its way up to the top. So how do we do that? Label dot size equals udimt.new100. We'll say 25. Actually, we'll say 20. No, 25 is good. Alright. And we're also going to have to push the chats. So we'll say label.position is 001 minus 25. So that's going to make it start all the way at the bottom. And... Alright, yeah, so we're going to push the messages before we insert it in the table. Push messages, and then it's going to be label.size y.offset. So, yeah, I think that should work. So that should make the message start at the bottom, and then every time I enter a message, it should push it up. Yep. Alright, so we're almost there. Now I think just a few more things we have to do here. We're probably going to want to make these messages be removed if it like goes above the chat frame. So we'll go ahead and say if v.position if v.position.y.offset is, now let's see here, every time we're pushing it up, I think it's decreasing? I don't know, I'll have to see. Chat GUI frame. Now it's just not working at all because I forgot to comment that out. Alright, let's look here. Alright, so every time I send this, it is going down by 25, okay. And then eventually it reaches 250, which is the size of the frame. Alright. So if v.position.y.offset is less than negative chat frame dot absolute size dot y, then v destroy. and we'll also remove it from the table, so we'll say table.remove chats, and then the position, and that should work. So every time we have a message that exceeds this chat position right here, it should just be deleted. And it is. Oh, well, it's a little bit weird looking. Have to fix that. Alright, why does it do that? Push messages. Okay, well, fix that problem. Apparently there was some kind of problem with using table.remove here, so I just set the index of chats to nil when we have the position exceeding the limit of the chat, so that works just as fine. So if I go and test this right now, we should see that it removes the message as soon as it gets all the way up to the top. So, and they don't overlap, okay. So, that works. Now we're gonna have to do some other stuff here, let's see. So we probably don't want people to send blank messages, like, just, with no string in it, because that'll probably, be very, it's gonna cause a lot of spam. So let's just add in here, we can add in our little rules of what we actually want to send. So we can say, okay, if enter, then if chatbar.text is equal to a blank string, then return. And as soon as we fire this, we can say chatbar.text is equal to, or equals an empty string. So that will remove the message from the chat bar every time we send the message. So I'll say testing message, and then we have it removed right here. And we can't send these blank strings, so that's good. Alright, so yeah, I think that's all I'm going to be covering in this video. Sorry, my cat is ripping the carpet. Yeah, so I'll leave a link to where you can get this chat in the description of the video. I have it in my models on my Roblox profile for free. It all comes in like a folder where you have to put these, like put the remote in the replicated storage, put this in the server script storage, and then put this in the starter GUI. Or you can just take this place. I have it uncopy locked on my profile, so either works. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, just let me know. I know I didn't go over this stuff yet in my tutorials, so hopefully I can cover most of this stuff soon. But anyway, hope that helped, and thanks for watching.